The wind howled across the rim of the Grand Canyon as the six-man team from Echo Company made their final descent. Officially, the mission did not exist. Officially, the coordinates they had been given led to nothing more than an empty rock and shadow. But the opening was real. It yawned from the canyon wall like a wound, 12 meters wide, its edges too clean, too deliberate to be purely natural. Sergeant Hale was the first to drop into the darkness, boots scraping against the stone that grew smoother with every meter. By the time the team reached the floor 80 feet below, the walls no longer looked like rock. They looked cut, worked, ancient. No one spoke. Radio stayed silent by an unspoken agreement. The only sound was the soft scrape of boots and the distant drip of water somewhere deeper in the earth. They moved forward in a tight column, weapon lights cutting narrow tunnels through the black. The passage narrowed, then widened again into a vast chamber. The air grew warmer, the walls began to show faint geometric carvings that none of them recognized. Then Corporal Reyes froze. Something shifted at the far end of the chamber, not a shadow, but a shape. Tall, lean. The light from Reyes' rifle caught a gleam of a scaled skin and eyes that reflected the beam like polished gold. For a single heartbeat, the creature simply watched them. Then it moved, too fast, too fluid, joints bending in ways no human body should allow. A second shape emerged behind it, then a third. Hale raised his weapon. The chamber filled with the sharp metallic click of safeties being switched off. None of them would ever report what happened next. None of them would ever leave the canyon. And the earth, for its part, kept its silence. All right, welcome back. This is episode 2, season 2 of our podcast, Legacy of Lies. We are your hosts. I'm Pat.
This is Gabe. We're very happy to be back. It's kind of cool. I don't know. We've been talking about getting in the new studio now for like 3 months, and we finally got it done. So for everybody that, if this is your first time watching, or if you're a long time watcher, listener, this is the new studio, and we're really proud of it. We're really happy that we have it all set up.
Heck yeah. Today we're talking about
underground cities. And the thing with underground cities that is, the tough thing is there is about a million different explanations for what they are and why they are, right? Because you've got the reptilian aspect of, ancient, they've been here forever, that they just live underground, right? And then you've got the alien aspect, which is like, there's underground research centers where alien greys or Nordic whites work with humans to do research. And then you've got like it's all humans, and it's doomsday bunkers, and it's 6G. They're planning for the apocalypse. Like, and then the last one, you've got the biological weapons doomsday people who say the U.S. and some of this is true, provable, that we've had these bunkers down there forever since we had all the biological weapons proliferation, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, up until Nixon signed the ban on biological weapons, which they're still making them anyway.
Right.
But there's so many different avenues to go down on this one.
There is, and there's just so many. If you look back, or for ancient times, and especially several hundreds of years, there's been different forms of underground cities. Agartha, we talked about on one of our shows, Antarctica, and it opening into like a hollow earth.
Yeah.
And what's the other word for it? Agartha. It's very similar to. It's not Valhalla. It's the one the Tibetans use.
Yeah,
I'll look at.
I'm drawing a blank,
but I mean, there's just been. You look at the 1800s, 1900s. Like early 1900s and even late 1700s, there were plenty of authors. This Edmund Halley, this is in the 17th century. He's an astronomer that proposed that the Earth consists of concentric shells with spaces between them, and atmospheres and water in between concentric shells. So
yeah,
I mean, that kind of gets into the multi layers of
Mhm.
different universes.
And that guy's legit. He's the one who that's what Halley's Comet is named after, is
Right.
him. So he's, like, got some legit, educational creds, actual astronomer. So
Right.
there's people that, have been saying this stuff for hundreds, if not thousands of years that were not kooks, not quacks. Like, um, and there's been, ancient civilization wise, there's been tons of proven underground cities where people during times of war, famine, drought, they've retreated underground into these, cavern systems that they had built. So there's tons of parts of it that are legitimately true and real. And then you have all the different spider webs of theories that come off of that about stuff that we haven't found, that we don't know yet. So there's so many different roads we could go down here, but I know you've done a ton of research on this one, so I'll let you kick it off.
Well, yeah, I mean, and it's again, these are all just theories, and it's pretty hard to find any real hard evidence of anything other than I've seen, and I'm sure you have too. You see these videos of semi drivers that
Yeah.
are pulling into these like caverns,
Mhm.
and when they pull in, it's like these are like, I wouldn't say cities, but like these are finished roads that go for hundreds of miles.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know this is a little off track, but oh flip, I can't remember who said it, but I
Is this the
actually,
contractor story? The guy who was a contractor for, like, Area 51? Is that what you're
no,
reaching for?
this is a different one, and I'm trying to think. It was somebody who was talking about, they said, "Hey, I know what, Jerry Seinfeld's favorite coffee is." And they said, "Well, how do you
Oh,
know?" And he goes,
yeah.
"Because I work at a Starbucks under Los Angeles."
Yes, I have seen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy's name or what it was. I don't think he's famous or
Right,
anything like
right.
that. He was just on, like, a podcast or on a TikTok or whatever, but, there's tons of testimonials of people that say things like that, and who knows? It could all be bullshit. We don't know. But, to me, there's too much smoke for there not to be some fire as far
Yeah.
as what it is. Like, my personal thought is it would not surprise me at all if the doomsday bunkers that we legitimately built in the Cold War, once, the Cold War kinda ended at the end of the '80s, early '90s, if those were taken over and expanded and used for private purposes for wealthy people. That wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. I think there are, at least 2 different, when I think of underground
Shit.
civilization. When I think of underground civilization, I think there are kind of 2 main areas. The first one being, cities under like Los Angeles or
Yeah.
Denver Airport or New York City.
Yep.
And like if you look at like the old New York subway system, it's super easily believable, right?
Right.
That there's shit going on down there. And then I think the other aspect is like we're talking deep in Earth where
Yeah.
it's aliens.
Right. You have to draw a distinction, I think, between the the inner Earth
Yeah.
cities and then the, like, where humans or are, a more practical kind of alien has, like, dug a hole in the ground and built a bunker, right? Like, it's two totally different worlds and trains of thought, and the conspiracies come from totally different places, but they kinda get mingled together in modern times when we talk about, underground cities.
Right.
So,
Excuse me.
let's try this.
And I think you got it.
Yeah, I got it. I'll set it up here maybe.
Something that's kind of always like and I'm still curious about it because I've never really looked into it. But when I think of somebody who is, in my opinion, like this dude's cutting edge, Elon Musk.
Yeah,
I mean, I think he's some form of genius, autistic. Like, well,
definitely
I mean,
autistic.
that's like a compliment. Like this dude's, you
Yeah,
give him a goal, he's going to accomplish it. But you don't hear much about. He's got a boring company that's called the Boring Company.
yeah,
Well, what the fuck for? And so it's obvious, like something's going on. I'm sure, let's just leave him out of it. But any company that has these underground boring machines, so, they get contracted to do tunnels under waterways
yeah,
and all that stuff. But, you know, so there's a different government element that's like, hey, we need your services.
right.
And all of a sudden, boom, you're 50 stories down building shit for them
Yeah,
signing NDAs.
dude. Well, people are gonna everybody's first reaction when you talk about this stuff is like, oh, it's science fiction, like
Yeah.
it can't happen. But if you look at the technology, like the things that have actually provably been done and the technology that exists, like they 100% can build underground cities.
Yeah.
At least to the definition A of what we're talking about.
Right.
Um, I believe it's Toronto. Like 70% of the city's underground. I don't know if you know that.
Mm-mm.
Um, and it's built that way because obviously Toronto has such shitty winters. There's shopping malls, restaurants, actual like bomb shelter. They got everything down there. And that's just one city, but like the Boring Company, you talk about Elon Musk. The company, I haven't heard of a project they've done, and
That's what I mean.
they're still solvent. So
Yeah.
they're doing something.
Yeah.
Like
That's a,
they
you know, there was part of me that thought, not to say that that company's a front, but I think maybe like it's something that he or his shareholder, his investors, whatever they've invested in for the sole purpose of colonizing Mars.
yeah. Well, that's the
And
story anyway.
yeah, and they're using the experience here on Earth, building shitty little tunnels to gain the expertise.
Right.
But
And I personally think the Mars story is a cover itself.
yeah,
I don't think that colonizing Mars is even remotely possible.
yeah, I
And I think that they are using this because the public is preconditioned for the moonshot idea, right? Like in
yeah,
the 60s, JFK, like we'll get to the moon before the end of the decade, that whole thing. Uh, a totally seemingly impossible goal, right? From everything that I've seen and all the experts I've heard, Mars is like literally impossible
yeah,
unless we figure out putting humans into cryostasis and figuring out how for long term travel, for how to basically live on Mars while erecting buildings. I mean, some of the stuff is theoretically possible, but the risk would be astronomical that everybody we send would die.
so I agree with you for the most part. I think it's impossible for us to travel there with the technology that we're aware of.
Yeah, right, and that's the caveat.
Yeah, and so, but there's in the future there's going to be more technology and blah blah blah. I'm sure that stuff already exists, and there's people that know about it, and they're probably using it, and maybe are already traveling to Mars.
Right.
And
Yeah.
whatever that is, wormholes or I don't know what. But so yes, I think I agree with you that like me and you, if we got on the most advanced spaceship that SpaceX has, it's
Right.
not happening.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
not even a astronaut that's in good physical condition. I just don't. I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, we're definitely not making it.
Yeah,
There's no way.
but I think the most interesting thing for the underground cities, because I you know, having different elevations under the Denver airport, that stuff's really cool and interesting to me. But more so would be like um, reptilians that like colonize Middle Earth. That
Yeah.
stuff is super interesting to me, and just because you hear so much, and it's all conspiracy theory. This is all for fun, right? I mean,
Right.
I've never seen anybody shapeshift. I've never seen it.
Right.
I have seen some videos that are pretty compelling, but
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know if they're real or
Well,
not.
fucking AI, man.
I
We
know.
just don't know anymore. Nobody knows. That's the hard thing. We've talked about this on the pod before, but we're getting to this place where you almost at face value cannot accept any video
No.
evidence anymore. You just can't. AI has gotten too good where I would say 95% of the time I can still catch it. Right? Like I'll be like, okay, like there's the hair's too smooth,
It's
whatever.
always in the
Yeah,
fingers.
there's some
Yeah.
weird fucking finger thing going on. But like my grandpa, zero fucking chance he's gonna know the
No.
difference.
Oh God, no.
Like it so there's probably half the population now that has no hope of telling the difference between AI
Yeah.
and
No, I agree with that. I,
and
I so yeah, they could. I mean, that's the part you see. That we're in this period of time that the internet theory, I think, or maybe it's like I don't know if it's a cultural theory, but it's the Great Awakening period, right?
yeah.
Where people are questioning everything, they're becoming more spiritual, and I'll tell you,
Age of Aquarius,
yeah,
man.
and I think that stuff's real. Like I think that's
some aspect of it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think when you say awakening, whether I believe you're gonna become a different being, like, on a different plane of existence, I don't know, maybe, but I do think people are waking up to bullshit, and
Yeah.
people are using their discernment a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's
so
definitely true.
and so that's what makes it hard with all these conspiracy theories that we talk about. Like, I think it's cool. Like, I've always had some fascination with aliens and space travel.
Mhm.
A lot of people do, but I really
Yeah.
have, like, it's something I'm really interested in. But then, like, the more times that passes by, the more I see the leaders of our world completely lie. And so you start thinking everything's fake, and that's
Yeah.
kind of where you end up. And so then I end up in this position where I think anything that they present to me is going to be bullshit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so you almost like I default to it's either good or it's evil.
Right.
And I've said that before on this show, and that's not to like, pull the God card or anybody or whatever. I just truly whether, good and evil exist. And so, if we were to have some alien invasion, I mean, it's just as plausible that that is Satan and his army
Right.
than people from trillions of light years away.
Yeah, or it's God and angels, or it's some other spiritual element
Right?
from some other, metaphysical religion or spirituality. I mean, I heard a quote the other day on a podcast that I thought was really pertinent to what we're talking about. Can't remember who it was. I wish I could, but the quote basically was talking about how in the time we're in now, we're in such a time of upheaval because the way that information spreads is changing so quickly and so radically. And the gentleman said, going back to like when the printing press was invented, there was radical societal change because you went from taking months, sometimes years, for different areas of the world to get information, and nobody was literate. I mean,
Mm,
very few people were literate besides like the clerics and the monks and the people whose job it was to write this shit down. But then, once the printing press is invented and newspapers come out and books and manuscripts, and that was equivalent to like TikTok for us today, right? Information exploded out,
yeah.
and it created huge societal upheaval. I mean, the French Revolution. I mean, obviously the printing press was before that, but all this stuff is kind of secondary reactions to people being able to get the news and information more quickly, and it kind of allowed things like rebellions to spread, and it allowed people to challenge and question those in power
Right.
because they knew what was going on. They knew what their parliaments were doing. They knew what their king was doing, whatever. And it's almost like that now, but it's on steroids.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of where you see in like the explosive growth of conspiracy theories, which we talk about all the time, and mysteries too. The unsolved mysteries, unsolved crimes. Like, find me a middle-aged housewife who doesn't religiously fucking watch murder mysteries.
Oh God.
It
It
doesn't exist,
that
dude.
that reminds me of that South Park episode, the murder porn.
Yeah.
It's true though.
It
I
is
mean,
real. It's all real,
but
man.
by the time I leave this studio and get home, I'm probably walking in to my wife watching a murder
Oh,
mystery show.
guaranteed. When I
Yeah.
lay down tonight, I would bet 10 to 1 my wife is also watching some form of murder mystery show or unsolved mystery show.
Yeah.
So but it's pervasive. It's everywhere. And you think about what that means for not just for us politically in society, economically, people are getting rich making TikToks left and
Yeah.
right
Oh my
now.
gosh.
Like
Unbelievable.
crazy, crazy. But you think about what that means for stuff like conspiracy theories. And then you have to think about and pertinent to underground cities and what we're talking about today. What is the intelligence community's motivations? Because they have their hand on that,
Yeah.
skewing it one way or the other, because they know, just like how back in the day with the printing press, the kings had bought out so many of these printing houses, and even later on when newspapers became a thing, like they had tons of money in these. And I don't know if you know this, but the like the concept of a free press didn't exist until very recently in like at the late 1800s, early 1900s. They
Hmm.
were you had your papers that were owned by a politician or they're owned by a rich person. And if you were a Republican, you would read the Republican Eagle.
Right.
And that's why a lot of these newspapers have these names. They, they're the Democratic Today or whatever. That it was a party newspaper. It was for people that were in that group.
Yeah.
The concept of a free and neutral press is like in the last 100 years, basically, and it's going away
When
again.
you look at like mainstream press, you can see that pendulum has swung right back to that.
100%. Yeah.
But I mean, that's the beautiful thing about, and obviously, I think there's, and this is off of underground. Well, not really, um, but you look at TikTok or X or whatever, and I mean, definitely a good and a bad.
Yeah.
The good is there's so much information out there. The bad is probably 95% of it's bullshit.
Yeah. Or bought out, paid
Yeah,
for by
yeah,
somebody, right? Like sponsored, which it's crazy how quickly money has gotten into.
man. I can't believe like I guess I'm Gen X, so like when I was like when I was in high school, the internet was really brand new, and I don't know if even our high school had internet. Quite honestly, I just don't know.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't have cell phones. Um, so a lot of that stuff is really when I'm late to the game. I still am probably a little naive to what's going on, but I've recently, probably within the last few years, you see like podcasters or these shows, and it's like you find out these people are government employees,
Yeah.
and everybody that comments, all their followers are fucking bots,
Yep.
and they're
Yep.
also government employees, and they're getting paid.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
It's insane, dude. It's really, really hard to believe. And it is a beautiful thing about, TikTok, Reels, whatever, where people like you and me, we have the ability to get our opinions. We have the ability to do this show, right?
Yep.
We don't do it for money by any stretch of the imagination. We don't make anything doing this. We just do it for fun because we enjoy it. But a lot of people are not operating that way. A lot of people are operating because they want to make money, and there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is, you can make your money from ads and subscriptions and people that listen to your channel, right? Or you can make your money because somebody wants you to get out a message that maybe you don't believe in,
Yeah.
but they're going to pay you a big chunk of money to get it out.
Yeah. Not to get into a topic that we'll probably end up doing an episode on, but I think that has become really evident with ever since Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
I agree. Yeah.
And I
100%.
think there's these talking heads, right? Like there's people who like, oh, Ian Carroll, right? Love the guy.
Yeah. Great dude.
Yeah, like I look at him and I think, well, could he be compromised potentially? But I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like,
He
and
doesn't
that's
come
what,
off that way.
yeah, and that's why I said like I think people, the whole Great Awakening is, people are starting to learn how to discern, and that's
Mhm.
how like
Right.
But there are other people we are like, what that they're trying to make a point that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. You ever listen to the Danny Jones podcast? Really, really
Maybe.
good pod. One of my favorites. I
I'm
was
not a regular, but
Yeah, yeah. You've probably seen clips or whatever,
yeah,
but he was just talking a podcast I listened to yesterday. And he was talking to a guest and he was talking about how in his line of work, when he brings on people, because he brings on like former CIA, former State Department officials all the time. And these people are all like retired CIA, but
yeah,
you're like never really out of the CIA.
right,
Um, and he was talking about how he has to work so hard and do his due diligence because he knows, and he's like, it doesn't happen a ton, but he's like 10, 20% of the time in the middle of an interview, a guy like that will bring something up that's totally offbeat. It's not with the flow of what they're talking about. It's not with the flow of the episode at all. And he said there's always that little thing in the back of his head where he's like, is this dude trying to insert a talking point?
yeah,
And he's like, I try really hard not to get used and made a mouthpiece for something I don't believe in. But he's like, a lot of the people like me, he said, at least a certain percentage of the time, you're just a useful idiot.
yeah,
They're getting their message out through your platform and there's nothing you can do about it. So his thing was, he's like, I try to hold their feet to the fire. I try to, to ask challenging questions, push back. But he's like, you just don't know who's doing it and when and on what things because there's so much mud in the information space because it's just packed full of
oh,
shit. And some of it's real, like most of it's probably not, but you just don't know. And what are you going to do? You're going to tell people they can't come on your show because
Right.
you're nervous about it? I mean, you have to get it out there.
I just heard a very similar, well, it's the same line. It was like I can't remember who it was, but he was talking about there was this company, and whenever they did interviews with their guests, like part of their rule was when they like, oh, so say they're asking a question, Gabe, why don't you tell me about Middle Earth? And they like demanded, or they say like, our flow is repeat the question back to us.
Yeah.
And what they would end up doing is clipping that and then using it as statements,
Gotcha.
as if that famous person was making this bold statement.
Hmm.
And so we're all, I think, part of that problem, because you flip through videos, you're doom scrolling, and you catch a 5-second clip that some asshole cut out that makes it look like, and none of it's true. And
Right.
I know we're way off track, but I think we've seen a lot of that in the most recent elections, where they
Oh, yeah.
take clips and then you have half the population believing whatever that person said,
Yeah.
with only half the story.
Well, it's not, they don't even hide it anymore. It's like shameless.
Yeah,
They completely do it. And they know that the vast majority of voters, the vast majority of people, they're not going to do anything other than look at the title of the article. Like, oh, X person said Y, something inflammatory. And it's completely taken out of context. It's totally bullshit, right? It's not what that person actually said, or at least not the meaning of what that person said. And the first time I remember seeing that a ton was Trump's first run.
yeah,
And I'm not going to get political at all, other than I've never seen a guy more willfully misquoted in my entire life.
I know. I know.
Regardless of what you think of the dude, he's got good and bad things for him. I think everybody can
Just like
agree
we
with
all
that.
do. Yeah,
Exactly. But the amount that the media has misrepresented willfully the things he said in and of itself is gross
I
negligence.
know. You made a comment that really piqued my interest, and it's very true. You talked about, like, there people are shamelessly like editing clips and taking people out of context.
Yeah.
And I think here's what I hope a lot of people realize. These people that are like, they love the polarization.
Yeah.
They're not trying to gain new followers. The people are already in their camps. Their whole goal is to keep division. That's how
Yeah.
I feel. Like, they know it's stupid, but their minions are going to listen to whatever they say.
Yeah.
And so they're
Yeah.
just playing to their audience. They're not trying to change minds.
Right.
They're
Well, when you see it with a lot of podcasts where they start out really general, right? They do kind of like what we do, where we do mysteries, we do conspiracies, whatever, current events. And then slowly over time, usually within a year or two, they start to get narrower and narrower until all they're talking about is the Epstein files,
Yeah,
or all they're talking about is politics, or all they're talking about is the Democrats or Republicans, whatever. It gets more and more narrow. And it's because they're trying to make money and they're zeroing in on their niche, on their
well, yeah,
target
they
market.
they're watching the algorithm and what's getting them
Yep,
clicks.
exactly. And if you're trying to make money, if you're trying to do it as a business, that's the only way you can do it.
Yeah,
The only shows generally that stay, you know, 20,000 foot view general is shows like us, where we know we're not going to make any money and we don't give a shit.
right,
We're not trying to make money. And I'm not saying that's better or worse. That's just, there's going to always be some people that do it for the love of the game. And there's going to be some people that do it because they want to get rich.
right.
It is what it is. But
Yeah,
the people that do it not for money are usually the ones that keep a broader perspective on
yeah,
things, I think.
I agree. Yeah, you know, just to kind of wheel it back to
Yeah, we're
underground stuff.
way fucking off
That's all
track.
right. We always are. I was going to ask you. So, we talked about there's, like there's A or B. When you look at, like the Agartha or whatever, like an inner Earth with, like, I don't know, reptilians, Nordics, whatever you want to call them, different aliens. Do you think that's real? Just in your heart of hearts?
It's a hard question because like physically no. I think there's a possibility that there is I don't want to call it another dimension per se, but a different resonance or frequency where that may be not even necessarily a physical place, if that makes sense,
It
but
does.
that
Yeah.
might be where some certain beings reside,
Yeah.
whether that's in the core, the iron molten core of our planet, or what have you. There's tons of theories on, you know, with whether our planet truly is even a molten iron core. There's theories on that too.
Yeah.
But you talk about people that have done where they do the fuck, why can't I think of it? The guys that do the where they travel places in their mind.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Fuck, I can't.
We were gonna do an episode on this.
Yeah, we haven't done one yet. We're going to. I don't know why I can't remember the name of this
I
right
know,
now.
I know.
But
Hang on. Remote viewing.
yeah, sorry. Remote viewing. So the really famous guys that have done this a lot, they talk about how they go to places like the moon or they go to Mars or whatever, but they're not really there. It's just like an idea, right? And
Yeah.
then maybe those things do actually exist there, like they're physically traveling, sure. Or maybe it's like another dimension
Yeah.
and they don't know. I mean, there's some of them, Pat Price, I believe, like openly questioned whether it was a physical reality or whether they were getting taken to a construct,
Yeah.
right? And that's what I think is possible.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of probably in a similar. So I do think this one is really hard for me to answer. A lot of
Yeah.
these are, part of it is you don't want to be a sucker. You know what I mean? You don't want to.
Nobody does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody does. But like I said, my heart of hearts, I think there's definitely something. I don't know
Mhm.
if it's a physical, reptile alligator man walking around. I'm not
Right.
sure. But do I think there are people physically on this earth that aren't all human? I do actually.
I do too.
And the
Yeah.
part that I have a really hard time with is how I separate that from my spiritual
Your
beliefs.
religious, yeah, beliefs.
Yeah. And I don't know if you have to. I mean,
I don't think that you do.
yeah, I mean, well, you don't have to, I guess, but like
Yeah.
I there's a lot of I follow a lot of different Christian um podcasters or whatever, not just podcasters, but and I mean these people are like they they've studied every religious text, not just
Yeah.
the Bible, but all the stuff. And um the part that I guess so like when they talk, it's like it's way over my head.
Right.
So they could be completely bullshitting me.
Yeah.
But I do own a Bible so I can go look and kind of, oh yeah, that's what it says. But yeah, then I struggle with a little bit. Well, I mean, there was many books missing from the Bible for so long because somebody made a choice.
Yep.
So what other choices were made that are out of the text?
And we
And
don't know. Yeah, we don't know if those books were edited either.
I know.
It's hard.
Yeah.
And there's the different camps. There's the camp that says, this is the word of God because it ended up in the Bible the way it did, and God was the one who had a hand in editing them, right?
Right.
And piecing them down to what was necessary. I mean, we know like the Franciscan monks did a lot of this.
Hmm.
We know over the centuries, I think it was like 5th century, they did a ton of cutting. Um, but you look back at the Dead Sea Scrolls where those were found, there was a book of Enoch there. There
Yeah.
was tons of books, hundreds of books. And a lot of them are not in the King James Bible.
Yeah.
So it's hard because you don't want to offend anybody, right? But there's never any way to really know.
Yeah. And that's so my problem with it is I'm only worried about offending one person, and it's God.
Right.
And it's by you know what I mean? So that's why it's like,
Yeah. Well, you don't want to be a sucker, right? Like we were just
yeah,
talking about. You don't want to be like, oh, that was actually Satan. He edited those things. Like, you
exactly.
just don't know.
I don't want, the end of my time to come up and I was like, I'm the one who fell for frickin' this bullshit alien stuff. You know
Right.
what I mean? And God's like, "What were
Yeah.
you doing? I told you. Look at this was that easy." You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And I know that's probably irrational.
You'd think that an all-knowing, omnipotent God would have a pretty good perspective on how difficult that is
Right,
to
right.
parse, right? Like, I don't know. It's a hard one for me. It really is a key topic with the underground cities, though, because so many of these things tie into hell
Yeah,
too. And
right.
I think that's where we're going with this. without actually saying we're going there. But I mean, a lot of the stories you hear, like the Native Americans,
Yeah.
right? They talk about that's tons of them, different bands of Ojibwa, the Sioux. They have legends where you go down to the caves that, from wherever their ancestral land was, and that's the gateway to the underworld,
Right.
right? And there's myriad religions that have similar
What is
thought processes.
the Egyptians?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
that's their, like, their afterlife is,
yeah.
going down the river of I don't know.
You got to pay the toll, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
take you across the river. Yeah, river Styx.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
there's something to that, I think, when you talk about the big picture view of so many religions, peoples all over the world, and they all have the same mythos that revolves around, the afterlife being linked to the underworld.
Right.
And a lot of those, it was physical. It was like, yes, you go down into the caves and there's a fucking gateway. And that's the other thing. Some of them, you go down into the caves and there is a not a physical path, but a path to the afterlife, right?
Yeah.
And they don't even necessarily all of them say like you're going down a staircase and then there's hell or whatever. There's the afterlife. It's like you go down there and your body is like transformed, taken,
Right.
whatever. So that's where it gets hard to say. And I find it interesting that so many people just remain completely fascinated with under the earth. And I think it ties into the fact that it's just like the oceans. Like we don't know.
Yeah.
There's so much that we just don't know about it.
Yeah, and I mean, again, just like the oceans, very similar really when you think about it, like
Yeah.
and we probably never will know because if there is a civilization that has been surviving down there since probably before human beings
Mhm.
or whatever, maybe at the same time, I don't know. Um, they're probably not gonna let us come in very easily. You know what I mean?
You would think not. Well,
Yeah.
we talk about, we did our Antarctic episode
Yeah.
when, just flying the plane. What the hell was that guy's name? Can't think of his name.
We're
The
so bad with names.
it's like the admiral.
Bird.
Admiral Byrd, yeah. We are terrible with names. Um, so yeah, Admiral Byrd was flying this plane, right? He's going off on a mission, and he's basically taken under escort by these, flying machines that have swastikas on them, and he's taken to this like secret um city,
Yeah.
right? Futuristic city, whatever. There's tons of myths revolving around things like that with the underworld, where people get escorted,
Yeah.
taken down there, and shown things. And we even talk about people with the alien thing getting taken down and into like research facilities. I don't know if you've heard any of these,
Yeah.
but it seems like it's always somebody getting guided down there. It's very rarely somebody like stumbling onto them. So I think you're right. I think the only way you're gonna see this stuff is if they want you to see this stuff,
Right.
if they are real.
Yeah.
Like it's gotta be they have to have some kind of security or something to keep you out. Otherwise, with 8 billion people in the world, somebody would be stumbling into this shit more often than not.
Well, I think, what's compelling, a good case for especially Antarctica, and we talked about this on a different episode, but what else has every nation signing a treaty saying we're not going to allow people to go there?
Yeah, it's
There's
weird.
a pretty good reason, I'm sure, for that.
It's weird.
And in my mind, it's probably our hands were forced
Yeah, there
by
was
people
some
that are,
reason.
or by people that could twist their arm
Yeah,
or by
bigger
things.
people than people.
Yeah.
Some civilization that was like, hey, you guys are gonna figure this shit out
Yeah.
because we haven't figured much else out. It's
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you were if you buy into leveling up spiritually or ascending or whatever, it's what's you look at the last couple 100 years and there has been like a lot of growth in technology and all that stuff, but we're still killing each other. You know,
we're still
like
animals.
yeah, so if there are people or if there are beings that are, more advanced than us and they're looking down at us, we look like a bunch of apes, probably,
For sure.
where, we have these little cliques. you know?
Yeah, you're in this country, you're in this,
Yeah.
tribe, you're whatever. You're this political party, you're this race, whatever. We're so divided.
Why do you think the world, or why do you think the bad people, 'cause I do think that there are some very powerful people that want polarization. They want division. Why do you think that is? Well, actually, I mean, I have my opinion, but
I don't think that one's hard at all. I
yeah,
think that's the same as it ever was, divide and conquer, right? You keep people squabbling over petty bullshit that doesn't matter to whoever's in charge and matters a lot to us. Like, talk about some of these hot button issues like abortion, about gun rights, about all this stuff that in reality, it's not what affects your life every day. The stuff that affects your life every day is like how much money you make, like how good of a quality of life you have, how good of healthcare you have, all this stuff. But that's not why most people are voting the way they vote. That's not why
right.
most people identify with the group that they identify with. It's the fringe 5% on the right, 5% on the left social issues that stratify people, that push us into groups. And that is for sure by design. You can see it in the media. You can see it with the way that um certain theories and like you can see the motives behind it when it's pushed out. We talk about this a lot, but you see say there's a shooting and there's a guy with a gun that stops it, right? Something similar happened recently in the media. I
The
don't
In and
The
Out
In-N-Out
Burger?
burger
Yeah.
shooting, yeah. The guy, innocent bystander had a weapon, engaged the threat,
Did you see that
stopped the
video?
threat. I did, yes.
Yeah, it's like I I I can't watch that stuff, man. Like, it just hurts me too much. Like,
Yeah,
you
it's
call me
fucked
whatever you
up.
want, I don't care.
No,
Like that.
I get it.
Watching how nonchalantly he fired that AR into the vehicle,
Dude,
it
it's
was like it felt
evil.
like it pulled apart part of my soul
It's
out.
fucking evil, dude.
Yeah,
It's
it's
fucking
terrible.
evil. Uh, I will finish my point, but side
Yeah, sorry.
topic, a guy I watched clipped a video on that, and he said Tesla should potentially or may potentially at some point have blood on their hands because in situations like that, the car will not let you run over the
On
person shooting
charge.
at you. It will
Yeah.
not. It will stop you. So it's that little bit of taking autonomy away from people in this very fringe situation that might happen, one in a million, but you're gonna die.
Yeah.
You're fucked.
Yeah.
If you're
That's
in,
crazy.
it is crazy, but fuck, where was I going with that? Um, but yeah, a situation like that and then you have like the MSNBC article that talks about how this guy is a rogue vigilante, right? He's out. He shouldn't have had a gun. He had no business engaging this threat. Well, what if the cops would have got there and they thought he was the shooter, or what if somebody else thought he was the shooter and shot him? And then you have the right wing Fox News, Breitbart, whatever. That's like, oh, he's a hero, whatever, all this stuff. And I have my opinions definitely on that. I think the guy's a hero, but you can totally see that they're using this situation as a way to split people up,
For sure.
but it's every fucking thing. They do it with everything.
And I think the people like in the media that are doing that and they push that and they keep the division, I think those are the useful idiots.
Yeah.
I think the people who are, pumping them with money and all that stuff, I think that they're pushing division and,
Easier
really
to
just to keep,
control.
yeah, it's control. It's to
Yeah.
keep, I mean, yeah, this will probably offend people, but whatever. Like this is like, I think right now they have a form of modern day slavery. They have people who, well, everybody, you're forced to go to work and do this and do this. And, and then they pull little things away from you. And it's like they're keeping you under your thumb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that some of the some of the stuff is so stupid. Um the only reason why certain laws would be passed or fines would get or license fees get raised or say your tabs go up or whatever, a lot of the stuff really just seems like there's no legitimate purpose for it other than a middle finger to
Yeah,
the middle class and the working class.
I know.
Like there's no reason why you know you should without any financial reasoning to like, oh, we need more money for the roads, which like in our area they don't. They would raise tab prices
Right.
just to raise them.
You got these wheel taxes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why? I mean, there's a lot of people don't know where we live, but where we live, the roads are well funded. We have pretty decent roads, and the wheel tax just went up another $50
Yep.
last year or whatever, and they did not give a reason why they did it. They just did it.
Yeah.
It
It's
doesn't make any sense to me. Like, the local government is really the government that affects everybody the
right.
most, and to think that there isn't means of control at that level, you'd be very naive.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's infuriating to me.
It
I
is.
think, this is not really connected. Well, it is, but I don't know how to make this point if it's going to make any sense. Um, but there's something very simple I've always thought is just asinine, and it's a fishing license.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, I
I
totally
think,
agree.
well, so I was born, I was born, right? And I can't fish. Like this,
Right.
this is my country. You know what I mean? Like I know that.
Yeah, on public land at the very least,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Private
Yeah,
land. Yeah. You can
sure.
compel an argument, sure, but like, yeah, you go to the Mississippi or the St. Croix River, and you have
Right.
to pay just to throw a worm in the
To get
water.
food for yourself.
It's obnoxious.
Yeah.
And I get,
The
there.
conservation aspect of it,
Sure, I
right?
understand that to a point, actually, but I don't know. I mean, because it's not fishermen that are like fucking up,
Yeah.
the population of
That are like
walleye.
fucking gill netting like thousands of walleye.
Yeah,
Like that's not regular fishermen that are doing that,
yeah.
right? Like
I
we
know
know
that's
that.
like we got way off track there, but like that's just one little control piece that has always really bothered me is like because it's so simple, a fishing
Yeah.
license.
Yeah. No, I seatbelts is mine. I
Oh
was just bitching
God.
like 2 days ago to my wife about how I understand and I wear my seatbelt the vast majority of the time. It pisses me off to no end that the government thinks that they have any fucking right at all to tell me to force me, to compel me to keep myself safe. That is
It-
not the government's business. That is my and my family's fucking business. You leave me alone. You're gonna what? You're gonna fine me because I don't put a buckle on?
the argument goes away immediately when they allow a motorcycle. A
Right.
motorcycle where
Yeah.
you don't have to have a
You don't need to
windshield.
have a helmet or a windshield or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like, come on,
It's just a means of control, man. It's
yeah.
just a means of revenue generation for, city, county, state, whatever you want to call it. Whoever pulls you over, whichever enforcer happens to
Now
pull you over.
that's a good one, actually. I mean, as far as like little bugaboos that piss you off,
It just
seatbelts
doesn't
is up
make
there.
it doesn't fucking make any sense, dude. And it's like I wear my seatbelt anyway.
Yeah.
It's the point. It's the principle of the thing that pisses me off. It's like this shouldn't be a government thing.
No,
It just
no.
shouldn't. It should be I understand the government wanting the manufacturers or mandating the manufacturers to add them. I understand that to a point
But
to
then to
offer the
enforce
seatbelt,
it,
but enforce it on the people should be a decision.
yeah.
It just pisses me off. But I think a lot of this leads back into where I was going with underground cities is that a lot of this stuff is a method of control. And I think, in my opinion, on the underground cities thing, is the ones that I, was talking about earlier, the option A, where it's like bunkers for the elite, bunkers for the rich people, whatever. Um, this is they use all these different means to control us, right? Whatever financial means, through your work, through taxes, laws, whatever. Um, and they operate on a separate system. They operate on a separate judicial system because they have access to attorneys and things that normal people don't have access to.
Yeah.
You think any of us are getting into a fucking bunker if shit goes down?
No.
No chance.
No.
Zero. And we're probably considered, upper middle class from compared to some people, right?
Right.
Like we're not poor, we do okay. And there's no way anybody I know is
The
getting in
only
there.
bunker we're getting into is if we dig one
If we build one,
ourselves.
yeah. The fucking school bus I got buried in my
No, I tell you
backyard.
what, like no joke. I have seriously like I have seriously thought about digging in my basement and seeing how deep I could go.
Well, you see that lady on TikTok,
Yeah,
right?
I
The
mean, she was
autistic chick?
inspiring, man.
Yeah, dude, she's fucking awesome. I like I said, names are not our thing, but that chick, fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
she
she's got like I mean, she's got Like duct work. I mean, she's
Yeah,
got
dude.
her shit. She's good.
Well, she's an engineer
Yeah,
also.
yeah.
Like granted though, but people don't take into account she was like a drawing engineer, not like digging the fucking holes. And she's like, I'm gonna do it. I'll just
That's
figure it out.
awesome.
And she figured it out.
I love that.
That is fucking sweet, dude. And of course, it's always someone like that, like some fucking autistic person like Tesla or whatever
Mhm.
that is groundbreaking. But I don't know anybody that didn't think that was cool as shit.
I know.
And like people, it blows my mind that, uh, you know, I'm gonna make a bigger point here, but people always say like, I would have never gone along with Nazi Germany. I wouldn't have been, complicit in this. During COVID, people were so fucking happy to rat on their neighbors,
It's
and
so crazy.
somebody fucking called her in for digging in her basement.
Yeah, I
Somebody
know.
that mind your own fucking business, first of all.
Yeah.
But like you see what happened during COVID in some of these big cities where 70-80% of people, when people were encouraged to report on their neighbors, they were gleefully following along with that shit. Like, yeah, let me please report Miss fucking Glenda next door because her grandkids came over to visit during COVID. I'm gonna make sure the Stasi shows up and throws her in fucking jail.
Yeah, what a
Get
terrible
out of here.
time.
Ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
You know
It's
what's cool about that? Not cool that her neighbor or whoever reported her, is that she shut the operation down and then she got all the licenses and
She
permits.
figured it out.
Like,
Yeah.
she's fucking smart.
Yeah, dude. Biggest fuck you ever to the neighbor. It was like, yeah, you know what? I'll follow the rules. I'll get all the permits. I'll pay all the money. Paid thousands of dollars in permits.
I think of that too, like, for me, I'm pretty sure I could go through with that and
Yeah.
successfully do it. Maybe not to that extent. She's pretty far down.
Yeah.
But I'd be so worried about, like, I don't wanna ruin the foundation my house is
Yeah,
old, you
yeah.
know?
We gotta the same with me. Like I don't know if you guys know this, we're in my basement right now, as where and like, painted concrete floors and rugs, right? For sure. But this is a almost 70-year-old house. I ain't gonna if I accidentally hit like a footer or something, like I don't want my fucking house to collapse.
Right.
But this chick, I mean, I guess what do they tell you to do when you're doing structural shit on your house? Is find an engineer. And
Yeah.
she already is one, so it
It's
makes
really
sense.
cool.
It is cool.
Maybe she will keep going and she will run into some reptilians.
She could. We don't know, man. But I think for me, the underground cities thing, it just represents that whole two class system, right?
Yeah.
There really isn't a middle class, a lower class, an upper class, and an elite. It's just the people that would get into the bunkers
Yes.
and the rest of us.
I agree.
But the way they keep us separated is they think like, oh, well, you make $125,000, you're in the upper middle class now, or like, oh, you make over $250,000 a year, well, you're rich now, right?
And that's all make believe.
It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's not real.
none of us, nobody below fucking 100 million is getting in any of them bunkers.
That's right.
So it's just how they keep people separated, and that's the truth of it. You look at people like Peter Thiel, and they own these big tech AI
He's such a
companies.
weird dude.
God, he's fucking weird.
He's
I
weird.
mean, to be fair, Elon Musk is fucking weird.
No,
too.
no, no.
They
Yeah.
all are.
But like, yeah, Elon Musk is weird and I mean, but I'm weird, not that weird maybe, but
Yes.
but Peter Thiel, like when you look at that guy, you're like, he might be evil.
He's a
like
robot or
actually
something.
evil.
Yeah, he might be an android. I
Yeah.
don't know, but like, when it just represents to me that two-tiered system where this is when I think about underground cities, I think about they're building a parallel society that they're just going to fucking, if shit goes down, they're just going to nope out of what we've built over the last several millennia, and they're going to go live in their little, contained society, and they're going to let us all kill each other up here.
Yeah, I think that, or what makes me curious is are they privy to information that they know something's happening?
Like an asteroid's going to hit
Yeah,
us, and
yeah.
then
I don't know.
maybe. I don't know. That one's hard for me because there's so many really, really good citizen astronomers, and it would be so hard to keep that secret.
True.
Because if anybody that's remotely normal knows, they're gonna leak that shit.
Right.
Like you're not that.
But on the other hand, you look at how deep and dark things go. Like they have pretty, pretty binding NDAs, and they'll just kill you
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
start talking,
Well, that's a good point. Maybe some of these scientists or people that have been killed in the last 5 years, and maybe they tried to get the message
missing.
out. Yeah, presumed dead. Yeah,
Yeah, what is it, like 11 or something crazy?
I don't. It's
7?
it's hard. They originally said 10. I think. I'll be honest. You can rule some of them out.
Sure.
Some of them are. There's a
If
very
it's
legitimate reason they're
if it's
gone.
3
But
or 4, you can rule it out. If it's double digits, I think you can say it's no longer conspiracy,
yeah, well, there's something going on,
Yeah.
right? Especially the last guy, the general who had like a Q clearance and all that. He had his own like FBI minder that was like following him around because he knew so much shit. Um, and there's a lot of people that have that. A lot of people don't know that. Um, if you know a certain amount of information, you'll sign a contract with the government that basically allows them to kill you if you get like dementia and you could slip up and say some shit. Like there's contracts beyond NDAs that have been provably signed that are fucking insane. That
Is
literally give the government the right to kill you.
doesn't it like, that type of stuff infuriates me, like, why like, why are you privy to that information and the public isn't? What is so important? What is so dire that us peons can't know about it? Is it aliens? Is it whatever? I think it's because it's evil shit they're doing.
That's very well could be.
What
Yeah.
else would it be? Like, and
Because I think regular people would stop it or
yeah,
at least
yeah,
try. That's the tricky thing
you're right.
is that you talk about, we haven't done an Epstein Files episode, but we've talked about it a lot. Um, and not even just that, but like all the weird NASA, they have all these fucking like ancient statues and stuff at their outside their headquarters and uh mission control. They've got just weird shit, right? It's like all their patches are like ancient
Oh
Egyptian
yeah, what's
deities and shit.
the Hadron Collider?
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
see that like opening ceremony they did?
Yeah, and they said it was a joke after. Like, get the
Right,
fuck out of
right,
here.
yeah,
And,
yeah, like the most elite scientific community putting on a joke play. Get the fuck out of here! You
um,
guys are weirdos.
yeah, definitely weird. And you can make the argument like, they're just, science nerds. That's who works here, whatever. I don't buy that for a second.
No,
Because you'd think like you still need funding, right? So you'd think if you're had any common sense, you'd be like, let's not look like we're fucking psychopaths.
right,
You're like, oh, they were just kidding. That's kind of weird for supposedly doing like the most groundbreaking science in the world.
yeah,
You'd think you'd be more serious about it, but maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, there's so much, crazy shit. Just blows my mind, man.
I know. We should probably wrap her up for the day, huh?
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, again, underground stuff. There's probably more than 2 main camps or whatever, but it's we always go off track and talk, but all this stuff really seems like it's all related, like all these little conspiracies.
yeah. It's the hard thing with doing a podcast like this where we stay kind of general
Yeah,
is and we do dive in deeper now. We made it a point to do
yeah,
that on some of these, but it's hard because a lot of the stuff, if you're paying attention, leads back to the same shit.
right.
And we talk about it. I watched a podcast the other day. I won't say who it was, but he was talking about how he was not a religious person. He did not believe in God until I think he was a reporter, but he started doing deep dives on all these stories, and he was researching conspiracy theories to debunk them.
Yeah,
Like, was writing for some online paper and was trying to debunk them. And he said every single one he went down, the root of it was religious,
yeah,
and it was almost always Christianity. Like there was some weird satanic shit going on, and like this is a off topic again too, but like the satanic panic. We've talked about this, but like
I just recently heard something about that.
this it was it not real? It seems like there was a lot more to that, and the media made it seem like, oh, this is all overblown or whatever. But like some of the shit that happened in the 80s was pretty fucked.
People now are saying that was the one.
The lead up to this shit,
Well, yeah,
right?
but there's a lot of people I just recently said they're like, they're almost making a meme out of it. They're like, that's the one thing the boomers got right with satanic panic was fucking real.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I would say that that's accurate. I mean, it almost wonder if that was the start of a lot of the shit we've seen
Epstein
now
stuff.
with the Epstein stuff and the child trafficking and everything, like stuff that's legitimately going on, child
Yeah.
trafficking. If that stuff spurred from that.
Well, and here's where this is how you. I know we were going to wrap it, but this is where everything is like can be related, and these things get tricky to talk about. Okay, so we're talking about like satanic stuff, and there's child sacrifice, and then um, adrenochrome. So they're
Yeah, yeah.
taking kids, doing rituals, torturing them, drinking their blood. Okay, so then you bring in reptilians who are also blood feeders. Are
Right.
they the same?
Are
Is
they
it?
working together?
Yeah.
Right.
So that's like all these things can really tie together. And so that's,
Yeah.
if you look at these things long enough, that's where my brain has landed at. It's either good or it's evil. And I
Yeah.
know that's very vague,
No, I
but
don't
what
know
else
if you
is
can.
it?
I don't know if you can look at it any other way
I don't,
because you'll
yeah,
never know all the pieces.
right,
Nobody's ever gonna know the pieces, and this is, you know, we've talked about before how the CIA will infiltrate a space like a conspiracy space, like whether it's on Reddit or 4chan or 8chan or whatever, and they'll send some underground people in there, and they'll give them, 30% real correct information and 70% not correct information, and they'll have this person spew a bunch of bullshit on there, but throw some of the truth in there, right? So you can't tell. It just muddies the waters too much. But they're still giving you some of the information. But take that across every single domain, every conspiracy theory. And you've seen conspiracy theories explode in the last 10, 15
oh
years,
yeah,
right? And I mean, you got the Q one, the Epstein thing, which is linked to the Q one, the moon. Fuck, there's probably thousands.
JFK Jr.
JFK Jr., yeah.
That one has got me very curious.
But like, but you think is the reason they're doing that because the stuff is all linked and it would be a lot easier to tie it together if we just had 80 or 90% of the correct information on everything
Right,
and they insert enough of that bullshit into each one where it's a wild goose chase one way and it's like, oh, that can't be linked to that because of this, and it just obfuscates it just enough where it can't be linked together.
right.
And it does make you wonder, and it but I do think it all comes back. Like I'm pretty religious too. Maybe not in the same way as you or other people are, but um, I don't know if I think about it as everything is good or evil. I guess I do to a certain extent, but I also think that this stuff is all a lot of the stuff anyway is has the same motive behind it. And I think that some people, not even in necessarily in a spiritual way, but some people just feed off of like misery. And I think that's where some of the control methods come from the government too. Is it's
Hmm.
like just they just like keeping people down.
That would be evil to me.
It, I mean, sure, but like,
Enjoying in somebody else's pain and suffering, that's pretty messed up, you know?
but if like, so say it's what if it is, say it's not enjoying and that's what they need to survive.
What do you mean?
Like, what if there's a life form that's an alien that's how they get their energy, that's how they live. Is that evil?
Yeah. For
Easier.
me,
I mean, it's basically a predator, right?
yeah, for me, it's evil. It might
Yeah.
not be for them,
Is a
but
cheetah evil because they kill a fucking, gazelle?
well, no.
I mean, that basically be like we're the prey in that
Yeah.
scenario. So
Yeah.
it gets
The
weird.
gazelle thinks the cheetah's evil. I
Yes.
guarantee it.
Yeah, for sure. It just all depends on perspective. I'm not
Yeah.
excusing any of that
No, no,
shit.
no. I
I'm
get
just
it.
saying it could be a lot fucking weirder than
Yeah.
people give it credit for. It might not be a traditional good versus evil thing. It might be we're not the top of the food chain and
Yeah, for
they're
sure.
doing what they got to do, right? I don't know, but you have to keep your mind open, I think, because it seems like everybody in these conspiracy theories thinks they know.
I know. I
And I
know.
I never hear people say I don't know.
I know. It's crazy. And that's why I really like doing this show with you. And when we have Zach on, is
Yeah.
because these are all really entertaining. I love it all, but
Mhm.
I don't have any real foot in the ground position on this stuff
Yeah.
because I think it's because I'm aware of the information that is pushed out there
Yeah.
purposefully, So I don't know. I have my feeling, and that's why you try to just trust your instincts.
I agree. Yeah. But I think we can probably wrap it on that. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna name this episode. 'Cause we did a lot more other shit than underground cities. We'll have to
Yeah, I
think
know.
about it,
I
but
actually, a lot of times we just get up here and talk and, we'll like me personally, I'll do some research or I'll get fresh, on some of the stuff that I've been looking at and I'll put a lot of notes down. But just like the laptop sat in my lap and I think I looked at it twice,
yeah,
eh, I just enjoy the conversation and it's
yeah, me
always going to
too.
go somewhere at least entertaining for us.
Yeah, we were built for, satellite radio. That's what we should be doing.
Yeah.
One of those satellite talk shows or whatever. Glenn Beck. No. Alright, I think that's it for today. Hope you guys like the new studio, and, we'll be back here. Probably have another episode out in about a week or so. So,
All right. Thanks, guys.
thanks, guys.
A band of shadows is a heavy weight to